Welcome back. This week was a big one for Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, unveiling some exciting new hardware. For the first time probably ever, there's actually more hype around those Meta products than around Apple's. And it seems Zuckerberg has been lying in wait to strike against Apple, even taking a subtle jab at Cook & Company's highly polished product reveals. All this leading to the question, which is better for a company and for investors, innovators or operators? Here to discuss, our own Steve Kovach, along with Deepwater Asset Management's Gene Munster. Welcome to you both. Steve, first, it's undeniable the buzz that Meta has right now, and the stock performance this year to date as well has been incredibly impressive.
Yeah, and there are two aspects to this, right? There's the headsets, and then there's the AI. I want to start with the headsets because it's been an interesting year for these face computers. Let's talk about, we started the year Apple Vision Pro, then a couple weeks ago, this Snapchat Spectacles, and then 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago? 2 days ago, we have the Orion glasses from Meta. Two of those things are experiments. One of those things has turned out to be kind of a dud.
But you didn't even mention the real sort of surprise success of all this, which is actually just the sunglasses, the low-tech
Now, those
Meta
are cool. And those are the ones I know you're excited. Yes. You're all in on the Ray-Bans.
I just keep hearing, I've never seen them, I've never worn them, but I keep hearing from people on the West Coast that they're starting to see them everywhere.
But what this tells us is, at least, we're talking about innovators versus product, right? So the interesting thing here is it tells you directionally we're seeing so much more out of Meta compared to, we know Apple has the same goal as Meta, is to create glasses that look like my Warby Parkers right now and that can just display and replace your smartphone. No one has that. Let's be clear. No one has that. But right now is Meta, first of all, they were ahead because they launched first. And look at the content they have. They actually have people developing for these. They actually have games and stuff you can do. It's like a desert when you put on an Apple Vision Pro. I think the development is not there, which tells you that thing is just not selling to interest developers, whereas the Meta headsets are.
Gene, does that, jive with what you're seeing just from a product evaluator and portfolio manager standpoint? We talk about innovators and operators. It's a different tool in the same kit. But which one is going to be better for shareholders at the end of the day?
Well, I think Steve's setup was helpful, was spot on. I think it really just laid the lines that if you're going to think of this as a kind of a match between Apple and Meta from that perspective, is that there has been more momentum around Meta and innovation. And to the higher level question, what's more important to an investor, an innovative CEO or an operator? And the answer is it's clearly an innovator. An innovator is more important. That doesn't mean that Tim Cook is not an innovator, but just on that question, just specifically, innovator is much more important. And I think that what Meta showed this week was pretty incremental to what they've shown us from a few months ago. But I think what really stuck out to me is they're putting the hammer down that this AI wearables or face computers, like Steve was talking about, that this is going to be a big category. And I give them credit for doing that. And give Zuckerberg credit. He's a founder, and give him credit for just going after this. They spend $20 billion a year on Reality Labs. More than half of that, I think this is a surprise to investors, more than half of that spending is on AI glasses. It's not on Quest and VR and MR. It's on these AI glasses. And so I think that innovation wins when it comes to tech.
So, in other words, Gene, are you casting your vote for Zuck and for Meta right now, contra Apple in the 2024 culture of Tim Cook?
When it comes to which one has more innovation in their blood, if you could somehow measure that, Zuckerberg is more innovative. And I think that as far as casting the vote, I think that one's just, I'm going to be difficult here, Kelly, I apologize. It's just a hard question to answer because if you look at the growth rate of Meta over the past 5 years, they've grown their business by, call it 68%. Apple's grown by 42%, but Apple stock's up 195% and Meta's up 160%. So, these are both Class X CEOs, no question about it.
But I do believe buybacks on the Apple.
Some of it.
A
good chunk of it.
Some of it's buybacks. Yeah, the revenue growth was slower off of a bigger base with Apple. But I think that it is true that Meta's been more aggressive when you score, it is, and one other piece that investors should keep in mind too, when you were scoring this and thinking about this on the innovation card, Cook was behind the car. That was a big part of what his innovation bet was, and obviously they pivoted towards AI. And so it's not like they haven't been doing anything beyond Vision Pro. They've been doing a lot. It's just that you happen to see more from Meta because those products get promoted more.
You know, Steve, it wasn't that long ago that we were talking about this notion that Mark Zuckerberg gets punished every time he puts out something visionary and needs to put CapEx behind it. But it seems to me in this discussion like that's the right way to go.
And AI is such a different thing because it's so much more tangible than what Zuckerberg was talking about 2 and 3 years ago, the metaverse. No one understood what that is. That's largely gone from the conversation. He barely said it in his presentation the other day, talking about steps towards that. But I also want to talk about the AI bit of it, too, because it's really interesting to watch that presentation from Meta the other day and see how quickly they've been able to catch up to OpenAI, to Anthropic, basically on par, seemingly overnight. They've been this Llama model that they're giving away for free. Zuckerberg said if it's not already, it's going to be very soon the most used chatbots out there, just by nature of stuffing it into the apps that 2 billion people are using every day. On top of that, they're actually shipping it. Apple has yet to ship its artificial intelligence product, and even when it does ship its AI next month, it's not going to have everything they said it's going to have yet. And whereas Meta, you can do it all right now.
Basically, AI is revolutionary and not evolutionary.
Yes.
Steve Kovach, Gene Munster, thank you both very much. Great discussion. We could do a master's thesis on this whole.